I want to talk about Ben Carson. I don't really like the way they portrayed him in the 2016 elections. I was paying attention, but wasn't very political. I think back at what I heard about Ben Carson, and they kept trying to make fun of him. There's this, oh, well, he said he should take, illegal immigrants and take their voting rights away. Hold on. Someone posted it somewhere, and they...
Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary.
Okay. Yeah, illegal immigrants caught voting should be stripped of their citizenship. They're like, that guy is so dumb he actually said that. And it's like, actually, he didn't say that. This is what they're posting. Yes, Ben Carson is actually this dumb. Well, actually, he didn't say that at all. He said people caught participating in voter fraud should have their citizenship revoked. Okay. What does that have to do with illegal immigrants? It has nothing to do with illegal immigrants. He wasn't talking about that. Verbatim, he said, people participating in voter fraud should have their citizenship revoked. That's what he said. So it's been altered. You can't trust meme news. All right. And that's both sides of the aisle. All right. You see meme news, you should just double check before you share it and be like, haha, see this? I totally got you. Where this person totally thought they got him. All right. Well, this is the tweet in question. Ben Carson argues racial equity is another kind of racism. And I totally agree. I do. I agree wholeheartedly. So I retweeted. I said he's absolutely right. And then this person, Dirty Old Joe, I was like, this got to be a troll account. And I'm looking at his post, and it's not. Ben says racial equality is racist. Haha, boy, you MAGA farts sure are a hoot. Racial equality is great. I like it. We're all human beings. I talk about it all the time. We are equals. We're all equally bad people and good people, and the color of your skin is nothing you could change. That's what Martin Luther King talks about. Martin Luther King Jr. Ben Carson actually referenced exactly that in this article. I'm about to read it for you. But equity, when you think about equity, it's totally different. This reminds me of last year during the COVID. It was, I don't know during what time. It was the summertime of 2020. Crazy time, right? Crazy things were going down. And Oxford, I believe it was Oxford who did this. They said, well, to our black students, if you're having a hard time with what's going on, you only have to do 70% of the work and you can still pass. That's demeaning. That's telling these people you can't work as hard as everyone else. You don't have to. We're going to make life easier for you. That's coddling them. That's telling them you're victims and you need help. You cannot possibly survive in this world doing the standard that everybody else does. Do they not see it that way? Because I'm pretty sure that's what Ben Carson's talking about. And I've made fun of that quite often. Anytime I see something that comes up along those lines, I'm like, that's effed up. How? If I was that minority, I would be offended. I would be like, what, you don't think I'm good enough to be as good as everyone else? Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm like, and these people think they're being so virtuous. Well, we're helping the minority community by making life easier for them. No, you're insulting them, telling them that they can't get by like other people. You're basically claiming you're better than them. And that's messed up. That's racism, right? This whole voter ID law in Georgia, how is that racist? These Democrats think that minorities don't know what a DMV is. They don't know how to get a driver's license or just a government ID, not even a driver's license. A government ID, all you need is an address, I think. And a photo ID, whatever you need. Everyone gets it. It's like part of, before you leave high school, most people have IDs. They think that they can't do it. They think that they're so superior to these minority communities that they're claiming need help, need equity to bring them up. And it's like, okay, you're telling them they're less than everyone else. That they're normalizing that. That's messed up to me. And that's what Ben Carson's talking about. All right, let's look at the article. All right. So Ben Carson defends op-ed arguing racial equity is another kind of racism. Let me get rid of this here. Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson began trending on Twitter on Wednesday after an appearance on Fox News in which he discussed his belief that calling for racial equity is another kind of racism. On America's Newsroom, Carson discussed an op-ed he recently wrote for the Washington Post titled, "Moving our focus from equality to equity won't defeat racism, it's another kind of racism." Proponents of equity see no problem with treating groups of people differently based solely on race, as long as it serves their agenda, Carson wrote in his piece. This is what we used to call racism, and those not blinded by identity politics still recognize it as such. Exactly. Host Dana Perino asked Carson to expand on what he said in his piece. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spent a lot of time trying to get people to not look at external characteristics, which they cannot change, in which they cannot help, and instead look at things that you can change and the things that you can help, such as your character. What kind of person are you? Shouldn't we be paying more attention to that than to the external characteristics? Ben Carson, thank you. That is exactly what we should be doing. I can't change the color of my skin. You can't change the color of your skin. And why should that be the focus? It shouldn't be the focus. It's not. That cop that we were just talking about earlier, he wasn't focused on the color of the skin. He was focused on the knife that was being reared back to potentially stab another person. That's what it is. Okay? It's a characteristic that you cannot change. Those things should just be accepted. You can't change it. How can I judge someone on that? And if you do judge people on that, that's on you. And you shouldn't do that. We should judge people on the character of who they are, their actions, what they do. She went to stab somebody. Okay? That's the action she chose to do, as beautiful as she was. Okay? And it's as a shame that it happened as it was, she still chose to do that. That's a character that she chose. It was a decision she chose to make. We're not even letting her be accountable for that. She's just a victim of racism now. No. Listen to Dr. Martin Luther King. He had it right. Stop focusing on external characteristics. Focus on the character. He continues, that's what animals do. Base a lot of what they do on external characteristics because they don't have the mental capacity to dissect further into what's really important. We do. So let's utilize that. Carson had previously spoken out against Director of Domestic Policy Counsel Susan Rice's push for racial equity across all government agencies. I grew up in the 50s and 60s, and I can tell you that real racism was like. It was an everyday event. The world is very different here in America right now, and to use race as a mechanism to obtain power and position, I think that's really shameful, Carson told Fox News host Lauren Ingram. And I agree with him. Do you know a man named Elon Musk? You may have heard of him. I read an article earlier today, and actually would have been perfect to show you, but I can just let you know what it was. He's trying to bring high-speed internet to the world. Now, you may not know, he's actually African-American. He comes from South Africa. And he isn't allowed to give South Africans his high-speed internet because in South Africa, all telecom owners must be black. Simply put, that's what it is. He's not allowed to give South Africa high-speed internet. They won't allow it because of racial equity. Well, now it's, as Terry Crews said long ago, where he tried to get canceled. They tried canceling him. He said, we got to make sure Black Lives Matter doesn't become Black Lives Better. And it's like that. I mean, that's kind of what's going on. They're like, no. We need black owners to run the telecom communication systems because racism. I mean, it just swung the other way, right? South Africa had some serious issues with racism. So, there's a lot of stuff, but I mean, why would they, just because of the color of his skin. He's trying to bring us to space. He's trying to lead us into a new energy future of electric vehicles. In fact, he's basically pioneered it, right? I think either today or tomorrow morning, he's bringing 4 more American citizens into space on his rockets that he built, and he's bringing Starlink to give rural societies high-speed internet that was never before possible because they couldn't bring cables all the way out there. Now he's just giving everyone internet, like, have some internet. Now you can have internet. You can be a part of society. Let's try to bring everyone up. No. He's a white man, so they can't accept it. So we're being held back because they're focused on an extreme or external characteristic that Elon can't change. That has nothing to do with his character of who he is. You shouldn't judge people on that. And I'm sick and tired of this being the main thing that people do. It's all racism. It's all judge me on the color of my skin, or the gender, or the whole gender movement. It's the same kind of thing. Look, if you are that and you can't change it, then who cares? Stop caring that other people do it. They're making it part of the conversation. It's a racism thing. It's a gender thing. It's this and this. It's like, no. Change who you are inside. That's the only choice you have. It's the only thing I can do. Right? I can't change the color of my skin. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but Ben Carson, thank you, because you're saying a lot of the things that's what I'm thinking. We shouldn't be judging each other on things we can't change, period. Stop doing it if you do it, please. Stereotypes, jokes, it's interesting. I would say jokes about stereotypes. It's kind of like, that's words, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Let's bring that back. Stop caring, all right? If you get offended, that says a lot more about you than it does about the person making a joke. Or both, right?